What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? 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 What's going on, America? What's good? It is your boy, Rod and Don. We are in the building. We getting ready for week 6. We're going to talk some football, Brooklyn Beards and Balls Sports Show. Yes, we got a lot to recap. What has Brown done for you lately? Have y'all got any UPS packages lately, guys? What has Brown done? You know one of my favorite singers are Bobby Brown. I love Browns. You love Browns. Everybody loves Browns. Anything Brown, we love. And we're going to talk a lot about the Browns. But before we talk about the Browns, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to smash the like button. I need you to comment. I need you to share. I need you to get engaged with us today on our platform and platforms, Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate the love, everybody. It's Rod, it's Don, it's Brooklyn Beards and Balls Sports Show. We in the building. D still showing his teeth. What's up, D?
It's all good, man. If it's brown, flush it down. It's all good. We're okay. What a great week. Fantastic week. Sometimes in life you learn who you are through adversity. And I learned a lot about who the Niners are. I learned a lot about who the Eagles are. And I guess in about maybe 45 minutes, we'll learn about what the Cowboys are. So it should be interesting. The Cowboys that you picked to lose this game, by the way. We'll be clear on that.
Yes, that is true.
But we'll recap week 6 so far. But without further ado, man, let's get into it. Okay, week 6 so far. We have one more game in the books, which will be the Cowboys versus the LA Chargers. But before we get to that game, let's quickly talk about the 2 marquee games. They're going into week 6. There were 2 undefeated teams, the Niners and the Eagles. The Niners played the Browns, and Deshaun Watson avoided us. I'm going to still stick with that. Deshaun Watson, because there were reports that he'll be okay for week 7, but not week 6. Cool, no problem. So we had PJ Flyer, whatever his name, PJ Walker. He played us, right? He was the quarterback for the Browns.
Flyer.
And the Browns are the number 1 defense. We did not, as the Niners, we didn't play our best game. We did not play our best game. Now, mind you, Greenlaw was out. That is a major position that we were now having a backup player to fill. But no excuses. The Browns beat us, and ultimately they got the W. But this is what I learned from it. We lost. We didn't have Greenlaw. CMC was injured and out of the game. Debo was out of the game. You had Trent Williams with a walking boot. And we still, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And we still had an opportunity with a 41-yard field goal that should have been a chip shot to win the game. There is no consolation prize for winning and losing, right? Because if you lose, you're a loser, right? You lost that game. But I will say this, out of the 2 teams that have lost, that were undefeated, certainly I didn't want to lose, but I say that our team still showed, even on that last drive, Brock Purdy, he didn't play his best game. But if you take any team's main players away, there's going to be obviously an adjusting period to it. We'll see what happens with CMC, how long he's going to be out. The X-rays on Debo's shoulder are negative. They're considering them both day to day, him and Trent Williams. So that's encouraging. We'll see how long CMC is out. But of course, on this show, we had already mentioned that they needed to scale back CMC's workload. They needed to get more of Jordan Mason in, and of course Elijah Mitchell if he was healthy. But that didn't happen. Okay, so we're dealing with an oblique injury from CMC, but it's early in the season. We're 5-1. Hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't require IR. But even if it does, based on our schedule, I think we'll be okay. So it was a deflating loss, but at the same time, I think I like the direction we're going in. And of course, I had already said we were not going to win every game. We weren't gonna go undefeated. We're not gonna be 72 Dolphins or whenever they went undefeated. That's not the goal. Our goal in the beginning, middle, and end is being as dynamic as we have been through the first 5 weeks in February. That's our goal. What do you say?
America, Brooklyn Bears and Ball sports show. That's what we do. Listen, I'm so disappointed. You know what? Donna's an upstanding dude, y'all. Okay, let me just speak about Donald just for a minute. Okay, aside from the sports show, aside from what we do here on YouTube and Facebook and Reels and sports and Cowboys and 49ers, one thing I know for sure about Donald Cornelius Sr. is that Donald Cornelius is a stand-up guy. He will tell it like it is. He don't mince his words. He gives you the authenticity of his heart. You will never, America, mistaken Donald's feelings about anything. He's very clear. He's very direct. He's unequivocal in anything that he needs to say. But America, I have to say, I'm disappointed in my friend Donald. I'm disappointed in him. I really am. Because for him to lead the show with an excuse. It breaks my heart to see Donald lead this show to come out with opening comments about his Niners saying, we didn't have our players. CMC is hurt. And Greenlaw is out. Meanwhile, the Browns played. I was out there. Y'all didn't even realize it. It was me. It wasn't even PJ Walker. It was me. I was quarterbacking the Browns yesterday. Okay? I was quarterbacking the Browns. And last I checked, they did not have their top running back, who's gone for the season, mind you, right? CMC will come back. Greenlaw's going to come back. They don't even have their top back any longer. He's gone for the season. All right? America, why is Donald leading with the excuses? Okay, they were at a deficit just as much as the 49ers were. And nevertheless, okay, and I told D last week that this is the top defense. This is the number one defense. And D knew that as well, okay? But the truth of the matter is, and I have to say this, the Browns did what the Cowboys didn't do. And that's push back and punch them back in the mouth. That's really what it was. They manned up with them boys, and they played football with them dudes. That's really what it kind of boils down to. Now, I am going to be a realist and say that the 49ers got two bad calls on the final drive for the Browns for their winning.
Did I mention that? That would be an excuse. I stated the facts. I stated the facts.
Yeah, but
let me ask you a question, Rod. Who did you say who has the best linebacking core in the NFL?
I believe it is the 49ers. Your
tandem. And so who would it be? Who would be that tandem?
It would be
Warner
and Warner and
Warner, right?
Warner, yeah, Fred Warner.
Okay,
yeah.
So if we don't have Greenlaw, then are we missing something that?
So can I say that we lost last week because we didn't have our All-Pro cornerback last week? Trayvon Diggs is gone for the season. We didn't have Trayvon. So
I think
me to say that all those passes that IU caught if Trayvon was playing.
No, IU still would have caught what he caught. But I will say this: it does hinder your team. The game wasn't close. We lost by 2 points and had an opportunity to win the game. You lost by 47 points. So no, Trayvon Diggs wouldn't have made the difference. But Greenlaw would have made the difference. But I'm not making an excuse. An excuse would have been I didn't start off with the two bad calls. Because that call on Gibson was terrible.
That would have been viable because everybody
that's an excuse. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. I started off the show just stating the facts. If you because the knock is that Brock Purdy, and I heard Shannon Sharp say this, that he's a system quarterback. What offense, when a team drafts a quarterback, they are factoring in their personnel, who they have to surround said player. So every quarterback is a system quarterback. So that's a nonsensical statement. So I'll say this. So me saying that was more of a case that everybody shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater or the Purdy with the bathwater based on the fact that he wasn't able. He threw an interception. Can I also say this?
Yeah.
Our defense also caused 2 turnovers.
No,
so listen. I am not worried about how we're going to fare moving forward. Right?
No.
I think we'll be fine. I think even with the opportunity, Moody not kicking a 41. This wasn't a 61-yard field goal.
Yeah.
41 should be in your wheelhouse to do every single day and twice on Sundays. So if we played the worst game we played, and arguably Brock Purdy played the worst game, we put out the lowest yards per game, 215 under Kyle Shanahan. This is Brock Purdy's first loss in the regular season, obviously when he finishes a game, and we still had an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to have my head. You wanted me to come in all black, have my head hanging down. No, that's not going to happen.
That's why I told everybody, Donna's going to go ahead and take his hits on the chin. He's going to stand up to the podium and he's going to take the questions. He's going to take the hit because that's what he does.
And can we do this for the record? When the Cowboys lost, you did not want to do the show. You were like, yo, why don't you take? I'm gonna send something to your Cash App so you and the kids can go out to dinner. You didn't want to do the show. When you said to me, we lost, you hit me with the text and the jokes and what can Brown do for you? I was like, yo, we'll do the show, no problem. Because gracious and victory and defeat. We took a loss. It's not a surprise that we didn't go undefeated.
And I was very gracious in my defeat. Look, I've said to you before the show, before the game last week with the Cowboys and 49ers, the 49ers are the better team. I literally picked the 49ers to win.
Yeah, but you do that because I really
didn't think Dallas was going to win that game. Only thing I wanted to see was that. Now, had we won, which I was hoping we would, and that would have been horrible. Capable of winning, but my coaching staff completely let me down because nobody prepared for the game at all. Okay, so they let us down. All Cowboy fans, Cowboys Nation was completely disappointed in the effort the Cowboys showed up with. They could have at least played and given you what the Browns gave you yesterday. The Browns defense came to play, and they played very well.
But why are you comparing? You can't compare.
No, the Browns got a better defense.
It's not a fair comparison to say, okay, this is what we did to Arizona, and this is what you did to Arizona, or because you still have to play the team. It's on any given Sunday, right? And so it's not because this person beat this person, then obviously this team is better.
But what I'm saying is that the Browns, at the end of the day, offensively, particularly with a backup quarterback, are much more, on paper at least, inferior to the Cowboys, right? Offensively. Now, they do have a better defense. They got the best defense in the league, right? They only give up 1,000 yards pretty much for the whole year up to this point. That's amazing. That's incredible, right?
And so it boiled down to be a defensive game. I mean, it was 19-17, right? So it wasn't like nobody even cracked 20 points. So it still boiled down to the defense.
Well, we knew that was going to be a defensive matchup because both teams are good defensively, right? But at some point, a team was going to have to move the ball. I told you that, and I said, y'all struggled in moving the ball. Now, y'all moved the ball in the last drive, but obviously Moody missed the kick. But at the end of the day, and y'all would have been off the field technically if it wasn't for that call, because they got not a bad call, it was the right call, but they got the holding penalty.
That call on Gibson was terrible. That was a terrible call.
No, I'm talking about the call on when y'all were driving down the field and it was 3rd and 10, and then they got a penalty for the hold, and that gave y'all the automatic first down. Y'all was struggling. The first 2 passes were incomplete. It was 3rd down. Y'all was struggling. If y'all didn't incompleted that 3rd down pass, that 4th down would have been a wrap. So that penalty gave y'all life, kept your drive alive.
That penalty happened after the penalty that was called to extend their drive. Because the game.
I'm talking y'all's last drive when Moody field goal. That last drive, if you recall, it was 3rd and 10. Y'all had 2 incomplete passes, 3rd down, and then that was the holding penalty on the Browns, their corner. And then I gave y'all an automatic first, and I gave y'all new life, and that's when he hit Ayuk there in the little slant area, and Ayuk ran off and got y'all into field goal range. But y'all struggled all day long to move the ball. Like, y'all were completely inept, particularly, obviously, after CMC left. But even before CMC left, y'all was still struggling. Y'all went through
did CMC score?
Just because he scored don't mean that made him
No.
effective.
So, well, listen.
I mean, he wasn't hurting the Browns. Just like if you think about it, even last week in Dallas, CMC didn't really hurt us. And even in last year's playoff game, CMC didn't hurt. He scored in that game too. Just because you scored touchdowns.
Kittle hurt you guys. I mean, you got hurt. You were gravely wounded. What are you talking about? They didn't hurt. There was a huge gash in you guys. It wasn't CMC that week, but you were there. It was
the point I'm trying to make is that y'all were inept.
You were rolling around and you were fatally wounded. What are you talking about? CMC didn't hurt you guys.
But the point I'm trying to make is that CMC, even before he left the game yesterday, he still wasn't hurting y'all. They still was shutting y'all down. Y'all offense was completely inept yesterday.
The Browns have the number one defense. They played very
but
well.
Y'all have a very good offense too. But like I said, I know.
But we look at the players that you don't want me to bring it up, but I'm just stating the facts. I'm not using that as an excuse because ultimately, a bad call here, a drop pass, because Ayuk, who normally has very, very sure hands, uncharacteristically dropped some passes, and that might have extended a drive. I think he dropped a touchdown. So these things happen, and that's the way the ball, the cookie crumbles, right?
Look, the Niners are still the Niners. I don't think y'all are going to be impacted. I mean, right? And I said this to you last week. The only thing stopping the Niners is yourselves, and that's injuries. So if you're not healthy, then you're going to lose. Okay. And let me tell you something. A lot of pressure. Let me say this before we move on to the next thing, because I do want to say this to you, okay? Everyone wants to talk about Dallas and how we fold, how we crash and burn, and how we get to as Stephen A would say, get to a mountaintop and then fall. But let's be very clear. The Niners are a big disappointment, okay? Y'all lost the last two Super Bowls you were in.
I don't accept that.
Okay? And then he said, I don't accept that. And then last year, obviously, and again, we understand Purdy got hurt. I still thought y'all would have beat the Eagles, okay? But nevertheless, y'all lost. And the thing is, there's a lot of pressure. Y'all got to win, bro. Y'all got to win because y'all haven't won since 94. Y'all gone without a Super Bowl longer than Dallas has. And the thing is this.
I can't believe that you, listen, and every time you say that, I say this.
What do you say?
It is better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Hey, Jerry Jones, right? He has one foot on a banana peel, right? And he has a cane in the other hand. Do you think he would like an NFC Championship game?
Of course.
He's always talked. He said he would write any check.
Win. Are you a 5-time Super Bowl champion? Are you telling me about just getting to an NFC championship?
No, it's not enough. We want to win it all, but you got to get there, right? You got to win your division. You got to represent the NFC, right?
And y'all got there, and you still came up short. And
we came up short.
Yeah, you came up short. So what I'm saying, but don't just.
So you rather not even be there. So you rather not even be there, right? You don't want the opportunity.
The truth is, can I be honest with you? Let's just look at this. Why do we play the game? Why does anybody play the game? To win, you want to win the chip.
Hello, you play to win the game.
Right, we play to win the game. So getting there and losing, at the end of the day, it ain't no different than the guy that's sitting home who didn't make the playoffs. You're in the same position as that dude. No one cares how come. The Vikings lost 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. The Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in the 90s. At the end of the day, Broncos lost 3 Super Bowls in the 80s. At the end of the day, you are a loser.
Do you think that all of those statistics is worse than maybe Dak's playoff record or not even making it in the post? So you think it's the same? You think it's the same?
Yeah, it is the same because at the end of the day,
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
At the end of the day,
that's a nutso take. That is a nutso take.
That's not a nutso. That's not a nutso. That's not a nutso.
You hear that nutso? The boy here says he owes me. He owes me.
Listen.
You say that you would not like to get deep in the playoffs if you're not guaranteed that you're going to win the whole Super Bowl? That's ridiculous.
D, you have been getting there, and the Niners have not won. Okay,
no, we haven't.
So I'm saying in comparison to Dallas,
we are light years closer than Dallas is.
and y'all still got 5 chips, and so do we. At the end of the day,
Six is coming. 6 is coming.
Okay, it's coming. Well, we prophesy on this show too, by the way. I don't know.
That's fine. 6 is coming. But see, you can't even now. We have faith on this show, right? The things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So maybe you're closer than I am because you can't see it. I can see our 6 coming. Listen, you can't even see you guys making the playoffs.
I can see. No, I can see. Dallas.
You about to look to the left. I can see it. Then your eyes go to the left. Yeah, you can't see it. You can't see it.
Listen, at the end of the day, like I said, y'all got to win a championship. You got to win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And if you fail, D, is this season a failure if the 49ers don't win a Super Bowl?
What were your odds to win the Super Bowl this year?
No, answer the question. Will the 49ers season be a disappointment if they don't win a Super Bowl?
Every team should go into the season wanting to win it all. There are going to be how many losers? There's only one champion, right?
Right. And so, and again, and if y'all don't win, and if you're not that champion, it's going to be a disappointing season because the expectations are there.
And it won't be for the Cowboys?
No, delusional fans of the Cowboys have those expectations.
America's team, right? You guys falsely have that moniker, the America's team, right?
No, we are America's team because we have the most fans than anybody. We rule in that. Everybody knows that. We rule.
So it should be a popular team. It's you guys are, a TikTok video. Popularity
because he's a money making machine. I get it. I mean, we want championships, but Jerry has a different agenda. But my whole thing is, all I'm saying is that for the 49ers, expectations are high. You got your quarterback, you got a great coach, you got a great offense, and you got a great defense. So really, at the end of the day, the only thing that's stopping the San Francisco 49ers is injury. That's it. If there's injuries, if they're healthy, they should win. So if y'all don't win by being healthy, okay, all right, that's it. Answer the question. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Can I say this? Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. Shout out to Pastor Foster.
Is that Pastor? Or is that the Pastor? Pastor, blessing to you, sir.
Of course. If a team doesn't win, every team's goal should be to win the championship.
He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, he is. Of course, he's a Cowboys fan.
Pastor, can you make sure you call an altar call on Sunday and have all those who are 49ers fans?
Listen.
Can you just lay hands on him, please? All right. And
what's going on? Yeah, so we're about to talk about the Eagles in a minute. But of course, everybody's goal is to win the championship. So naturally, if whoever the last team is with the confetti and all of that, all the other teams in the NFL are losers. And they should all be disappointed. Some teams hold that a little, closer to their heart. They may feel more impacted by that. Cowboy fans, I don't think so.
Well,
as soon as the confetti is going, you can hear a low roar of them saying, "This our year, we them boys next year." It's always that. It is always that.
Not myself, not Pastor Christopher. We are rational, grounded, very rooted in our fandom. We are not out here talking about Dallas going to win. We are very realistic about our team. We understand. I told you, like tonight, I don't have the Cowboys winning tonight. I do got the Chargers winning. Again, being on our show, we got to be objective, right? And I agree that the Cowboys, there's a lot of issues right now with the Cowboys. A lot, okay? Offensively, scheme-wise, Dak, we lead the league in the most dump-offs and short passes. I don't think McCarthy even believes in Dak. That's why he shortened the offense up. And why Kellen is going crazy offensively, even with the Chargers now, as he was the last 4 years. Dallas led the league in points the last 4 years. And 71%.
What does that mean? And so what does that mean?
Well, it means that we shortened, but McCarthy, with this scheme that he has, where he wants to put emphasis on running the ball, actually, it takes away. Dak can't throw down the field. He don't want Dak throwing down the field because I personally believe, when I'm assessing, he doesn't trust Dak with the turnovers. So he wants to keep everything short, keep everything in front, and that's how he wants to just methodically move down the field. He says our defense can win us games. We got to keep them rested. We move down the field methodically, kill clock, and that's how we win. He's going back to 90s football. It's not going to work that way. You got
to be more innovative offensively. And I'll say this, Pastor Chris, it feels good. Yes. It feels good to be actually a relevant team and have the possibility to be there at the end. Because listen, think about all of the times. Think about all the times that we got there with Kaepernick. It was one play. I mean, it's always been a very, it's not.
What does that mean?
Have we gone to the Super Bowl and got blown out? The play, just
Dallas either.
The last time. Yeah, but who was alive then? Who was alive the last time you were in the Super Bowl?
You was alive. You was
alive. My question is this.
So then who was alive when the 49ers last won a Super Bowl?
I was alive. But I'll say this, even when we lost to Kansas City, we had them. Jimmy G couldn't bring us over the top. It took a fluke play. I don't know, it was like a 3rd and 25 that he hit Tyreek and they won the game. So I think that we are right there, and our chances,
y'all are
just like anything else, right? The closer you get to the fire, right? You warm up, right? We're heating up. You guys are going the opposite direction. You're in Poland. We're getting closer to the heat. Soon and very soon, the confetti will be coming down on us. And it's this year. I think it's this year.
When you get to that heat and you come close to that fire, and then that fire just goes out, and now you're cold again. You were warming up, and you actually thought you were going to get that next level of intense heat, and all of a sudden the fire goes out. And know what's so disappointing about this? And I tell you, D, again, your expectations are high. You got everything. Again, barring injury, there's no reason the 49ers should lose. And that's even against Patrick Mahomes.
We will beat Kansas City.
You would be,
unless Kansas City gets some top-notch receivers.
Yesterday happened in the playoffs or in the championship or in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Don't let that happen.
To lose 5 players in the game? I'm like, I mean, what exactly are you talking about? Don't let
y'all still would have won that game. Y'all would have.
Yeah, we should have won.
Have an opportunity to win that game. Y'all could have still won that game without Debo.
That speaks of great resilience. That speaks of how great our team is.
To your point, you can't say in one breath that, we lost our players, that's why we lose. But then in the second point, well, you see, we almost won without our players, so that's how come we're still good. No, you can't have it both ways.
Well, you guys have a game coming up soon that you don't believe in your own team. You don't have belief in your own convictions. You're a so-called Cowboys fan. No, and what you do is Cowboys fans are either on one side or the other. Either they're super fanatical and every year is their year, or they take your approach and be cautiously. The Cowboys, no, that's not being realistic. That's double-minded. That's unstable in all your ways. That's what you are. Let your yay be yay and your nay nay. If you think that the Cowboys, it was there, because let you tell it, you thought the Cowboys have a chance, right? Before you got mollywopped by Arizona.
A Super Bowl. Dallas could still win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
You sound like Jerry Jones now. That's a great team. As long as they got that star, get out of here. You ain't got no shot. If you play us, if you play the Eagles, because you were talking about somebody on this show said it's the Niners and the Cowboys. That's it. This is the Super Bowl. Yeah. Okay. And I said to you, rational fan, you got to beat a team that was undefeated at the time in your division. We not worried about the Eagles. We can handle the
Eagles. You saw them yesterday. I ain't worried about the Eagles. I'm still not worried about the Eagles. We can beat the Eagles. Okay. That's a divisional game. That we can beat. Listen, I'm not worried about the Eagles.
So let me ask you a question.
Are the standard in the NFC?
Of course they are. They absolutely are. But let me ask you a question.
I give you that. See,
Jalen Hurts throwing 3 interceptions, right? Or 2 or 3 interceptions. Is that more of a blip? Or is that who he is? Let me ask you that.
Hurts?
Yeah.
No, I think that was just good defense by the Jets, and that was more of a blip because Hurts is not really a
so Dak throwing 3 interceptions. Is that more of a blip, or is that who he is?
That is more Dak.
Okay, then so you should be worried about Philly. Be worried about Philly. You should be worried about Philly.
Dak is well over 500 against Philly. He has ruled Philly. He owns Philly since he's been in the league, and he beat them last year too. So Philly, I'm not really worried about Philly. That's a divisional rival. Trust me. Y'all need to worry about Philly more than we do. We can play Philly. I'm not worried about Philly.
So let me ask you a question. Are you going to win your division?
I believe we will. Yes.
Okay, you're getting real quiet. You are so boisterous talking about what we need to do and our disappointments.
Yeah. Listen, the 49ers.
You got a beam in your own eye. Worry about that beam in your own eye. Don't worry about us.
No, I'm trying to put the one out of
your
eye.
Since Pastor's on here, I'm reading my words and everything.
Well, but you've been in the he's been reading his Bible there, Pastor. So yeah.
But yo, listen, I say all that to say this: Philly is still a good team, even though they lost. And I will make this case since Scrap is on.
Yeah.
2 teams, both undefeated, going into week 6. I think our loss, if this makes sense, was a better loss than Philly because we caused 2 turnovers. Jalen Hurts, although Brock didn't look great, Jalen Hurts looked kind of bad. The way those interceptions weren't good interceptions. They were bad.
That's what that
they were actually bad. It was almost a kind of throw it up, whoever wants it. He was alley-ooping, and I think shout out to Robert Saleh for getting that W for us, because I text you after you said, because initially you thought we should have, you thought we were going to win that game, right? When Brock Purdy drove it down the field, you was like, oh, good win. And then I'm like, and then we lost, and it was I was on an emotional roller coaster, ups and downs, and fans do that. That happens. Yeah. But I text you, the only thing that will save this day is if the Eagles lose. And you were like, I need the Eagles to lose too.
Yeah, I need the Eagles to lose.
Robert Saleh looking out for us. He came from, the coaching tree and he hooked us up. So
glad they said unto me.
Now, right.
And the Jets and Niners lose. Right.
It worked out because now we have, it's interesting because now Detroit's 5-1. Of course, it's part of the NFL's job, and I don't want to make this a conspiracy, but it's part, and I've always said this, so this is not a new concept because we lost. It is in the NFL's best interest to keep parity. They don't want teams to be a complete blowout and, the other teams in that division not have a shot at least at it, right? Because the Rams are coming along, right, in our division, NFC West. Seattle was looking good, but Seattle lost because I told you. And I said this, and if you remember, I said they're going to keep the Bengals around. If Joe Burrow can nurse that calf muscle, you'll find out that the other teams in his division will lose. And now look at them. They're 3-3. They're 500. So pretty much they're in the mix, right? So I think it's going to be down. They're going to make sure. That's why they changed it. So the last game of the NFL season, you're playing a divisional opponent, because more often than not, that may affect who wins the division. That affects seeding. Right. That affects. So the NFL has a master plan that has nothing to do with how we lost or why we lost. But I like our chances moving forward. Let's really quickly, so you can watch, Eckler run all over you guys. Real quick, let's talk about the Eagles. Scrap, the Eagles all season long were not impressive, but I gave them credit. They had grit, they had tenacity, determination. They were able to grit out some victories. But yesterday they looked bad. The interceptions were bad. I think overall they just weren't in sync. And I think it's going to take them a while, losing their defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator in 1 year at the same time. You're adjusting on both fronts. I think that takes a while for you to kind of get into the groove. But, it seems like, Scrap, you're already moving on to baseball. You're done with your Eagles already. You're talking about the Phillies. Is that what you're doing? Because I'll say this. The Texas Rangers are going to win it all. Everybody's sick of the Astros. Yeah, the Astros get there. And so, Bochy is the coach of Texas. They're going to win it all. They look dynamic. They have their pitching. So even if Philly gets there, there will not be success. There is a albatross around the Eagles and Philadelphia sports. You guys will not win. Okay? Not in football, not in hockey, not in baseball, all L's. Like y'all did, was it last year? Every team got there, and every team, no confetti, no celebration. Everybody was they had cases and cases of champagne and they wind up sending it overseas to a third world country, like how they have the Super Bowl,
right?
Super Bowl champs. They wind up sending it to Africa or Middle East somewhere. Just
somebody right now waving the last 2 Super Bowls. Like 49ers over there. They can wear their shirts. Yeah,
the shirts from Dallas. They don't exist. They dissolve. There's no NFC championship shirts.
We didn't lose no.
Listen, the people, those shirts, the company that used to make those shirts is not even in existence. They didn't make it through COVID. They shut down. So that is the reason. Don't start about the Cowboys, because you start getting on that
leftover goes to it.
You guys are scared, or you guys can't take success. Success is it? Anytime
Cowboys don't win because of Jerry Jones, because we have an owner who won't fire himself as a GM. And you know what they asked Jerry about that? Like, Jerry, do you think that you would have your job for as long as you had as a GM, as long as the Cowboys are going without suit? You know what he said? He said, "I work real hard so I can own the team." What is he selling you there? I own the team, so it's a wrap. Like,
it's
no,
about
I'm not
capital. It's about making money. He's about generating wealth. He's about making. Listen, as long as you believe, as long as every year, as long as you have, every time you come on the show, you got a different Cowboys hat on, to the side, backwards, in different colors. You got, St. Patrick's Day Cowboys hat. That's all he cares about. He wants you to keep buying merchandise. No championships, no victories with that. Just buy merchandise. All right, real quick. Let's finish this up.
Okay.
Tonight, you guys play, Kellen Moore's coming back, potential revenge game. I do think the Cowboys will win this game, because that's someone thinking and not holding against a team that, maybe they have a
lose. You don't care if Dallas really wins or not. You don't care.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, but we just call
vested emotion in that pick you just made. You know what I mean?
Neither do you. You didn't pick them, so neither do you.
No, I know. But I'm gonna tell you what is gonna hurt me though, because if Dallas loses this game, that's it. I really think it's going to be really hard for the Cowboys to overcome the lock. Listen, CD and Dak have been in beef all week long. They just had a conversation on Friday. Okay, CD's upset. He hasn't been getting the ball. He's had the least amount of targets than every top receiver in the league. Okay,
number one. He's not a number one receiver.
CD is the number one receiver. He is. Now, there's tiers to this. I think he's a top. I think he's the bottom half. I mean, he's the top of the second half of number one receiver. That makes sense.
Is he better than Brandon Ayuk? Is he better than Brandon Ayuk? Is the question that we pose.
They're on the same level. I don't think Brandon Ayuk is any better than CD. Brandon Ayuk is not going to hold down a team where he's the best receiver on that team. CD does not have a Kittles. CD does not have a Debo. CD doesn't even have a CMC for that matter. So Ayuk,
you told me last year that Tony Pollard was better than CMC. You did.
I never said that. I never said that.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to pull up the show. And when I do, I'm going to pull up the show. I'm going to drop the red flag. We're going to go to the tent and I'm going to look in and you're going to be like, oh yeah, CMC. Because you told me remember they both had, and this is when it was speed and feed. You told me that Tony Pollard was just as dynamic as CMC.
I said coming back to you? Dynamic, but he's not better though. I don't think he's better, but he's just but he was an explosive player. But now I did say this, if I recall, CMC gets used in a plethora of ways because you have a very creative coach. That wasn't the case with Pollard. Pollard, although he had good all-purpose yards, but he wasn't used in the same way that CMC was used. And not to remind you that he was sharing the backfield with Zeke, so he wasn't even
right. So the workload. But I even said that I think Tony Pollard could be a 3-down back. You didn't agree with that. You said that we have to keep Tony Pollard's carries. This was last year. Keep Tony Pollard's carries limited. He's more effective in short bursts. But now he's the man. He is the man, right? Because you got, Turpin and Dowell and all these.
Dowell. Yeah, Dowell's a good back. I like Dowell. Yeah, but Pollard is the man. Pollard is the lead guy. But now Pollard, and I'm looking for him to have a good night tonight because the Chargers are like.
He's going to have an excellent night tonight. He's going to have.
So I hope he's going to have.
Maybe. I mean, listen.
I don't know.
I don't have him on my fantasy team, but I think I mean, part of it is calling it like you see it. If you have good players, you have good players. I like my team. I like who I like, but I also can admire players' skills and how well they play. I think you have a problem with that. You don't necessarily want to give full credit for stuff. You'll give partial credit.
I give credit all the time. I just don't think Ayuk is any better than CeeDee Lamb. I think they're on the same level. Ayuk is not on the level of a lot of the top receivers. You call about a number one. He's not a Devontae Adams, right? He's not a Jefferson. I don't think CeeDee Lamb is that either. But CeeDee Lamb is still playing on a team where he is the most potent weapon on that team. He had 107 catches last year, over 1,000 yards. He was an All-Pro last year. Ayuk is not an All-Pro. He's got to be an All-Pro to be a number one. He's not even that. He hasn't even made a Pro Bowl yet. So how's he a number one? He hasn't even made a Pro Bowl.
He will this year.
Oh,
we're always talking in yesteryear. What is he doing now? Is CeeDee Lamb's numbers?
He hasn't done number one things yet. And he benefits from a great receiving core. So now he's got Kittles and Debo there. So he's benefiting. Come on,
Rod, did you tell me that all we have is you didn't even mention Debo and do I need to pull up the text where you said our offense Kittle, and this was before we played you guys. Kittle and Debo is trash. Basically what you were saying.
No, I just said they haven't been in the offense as much, was what I was saying.
And Kittle heard you. Kittle heard that. He was on the text.
Ayuk is somebody who obviously Purdy likes to throw to. So I'm saying Ayuk is a good receiver, no question about it. Like, I'm not knocking. I'm not saying he's trash. He's not trash. But yet, while Debo still has been dealing with injuries and has been slowed down a bit, right? And Kittles is not really the target as much, though he still gets his catches.
How was he targeted last week?
But who? Kittles?
Kittle. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see what he did last week. I don't remember that game. But what I am saying,
let me help you. 3 touchdowns. Let me refresh you.
But what I'm saying, right? Well, look. I mean, look. At the end of the day, those guys are still guys that defenses scheme for. Debo and Kittles, that is, okay? But now Ayuk is in that mix, so that makes it that much tougher to plan against the 49ers defensively. But Ayuk is a very good receiver, but I don't think he's a number one. He's not a number one. Not yet. We got to see.
Time will tell. We'll see how the season progresses, right? Because you said Dak is better than Purdy, right? And if CeeDee Lamb is there, his number one.
I thought he was, but not anymore. I don't think that anymore.
Okay, so we're making progress. We're actually listen.
See,
we're making progress.
Like a realist. It's not. I mean, I did think that Dak was a better quarterback than Purdy, but Purdy has clearly shown that he is a better quarterback.
Wait.
Even yesterday's game.
Let me give you full screen. Say that again now.
It's 8:14. We got 1 minute before kickoff.
Okay, but just say what you said again, please.
What is it? Oh, what I said is that
about
Dallas
Dak and Brock Purdy
better than 49ers, and Dak is still better than Purdy.
Oh, okay.
No, Purdy is better. Purdy proved to me that he's better. He proved to me. I didn't think that at first, but he has proved to me that I do believe he is a better quarterback. Now, the verdict is still out. He's still in a system. Dak has been under several systems. Garrett, Kellen Moore, now Mike McCarthy, and Schottenheimer.
And he's failed in all of them. He's failed
in all of them.
He's lost in every system possible.
Well, look, Dak's had some good season. He still has a good completion percentage for his career. Dak is still a good.
Every system except the penal system. He's been in the penal system. He would lose in that too. Every system he's been in. So listen, we gotta go. We gotta go because don't tell me about systems because you're looking for excuses. That's an excuse. Oh, he's had 5 different coordinators and he's had 6 head coaches. Listen,
Purdy. It's nice to have what you have. That's all I can say, Brock. You know what I mean? It's nice to have what you have.
I appreciate it. So, okay, let's get a score, and we're going to wrap up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate it. We want to see what Kellen Moore is going to do.
Yeah.
Forget what Brown is going to do. We're going to see what Kellen Moore is going to do.
26-16.
Who's going to win?
The Chargers.
26-16. And this from a Cowboys fan since 1977. 1977.
That's right. Proud.
Okay, I think that the Cowboys are going to win. And honestly, I think they're going to dominate. I think the run game is going to be spectacular. I think Tony Pollard is going to have upwards of 125 rushing. And so I will take the Dallas Cowboys to win 30-21.
30-21. Well, America, I hope Donald is right.
You'll get back to your winning ways. You'll get back to your winning ways. And see, one more thing before we go. Listen, this is NFL. This is not college. We don't do style points. We don't run up the score. We don't do. We talk about W's and L's. So that's my prediction. But even if you guys win by 1 point, a half a point, you win, right? So the goal is to get the W. And see that's part of the problem with the philosophy of Dallas fans. They want style and glitz and glamour, and they don't like gritty. They're more of a finesse team, although they're supposed to be America's team and they're supposed to have this great defense. But we'll see.
So Dak's overall career record is 34-38. 64-38, just so you know. 64-38 is his winning percentage. And he 171 touchdowns and only
how many of those W's was with Zeke?
Oh, now here we go with Zeke.
Okay, so hey, listen. Zeke wasn't special when Zeke got into the league.
I'm gone.
Zeke didn't carry him.
He did.
Amari Cooper gave him, because of Amari Cooper, he got that big contract. And what did you guys do? You got rid of Amari Cooper. Zeke, so he was coddled and sheltered through pretty much the first 4 seasons.
Coddled and sheltered? You don't think?
We're not talking about Purdy. We're talking about we're on the last game of the night. We're talking about Dallas. And so he benefited from Zeke being exceptional. And then when Amari Cooper came, and Amari Cooper, he had a real number one. You got rid of him. He got to go. We got to get CeeDee Lamb in.
Cooper didn't show up in big games. Cooper was a disappointment. In big games, he would get hurt.
I know. On the road, he would tap his helmet, pull me out. I get it.
He's a fake number one. He's
I think Stephon Gilmore, if I'm not mistaken, made him quit one time, right? Didn't he make him tap out of an important road game or something? I think
it was a fourth down play. It was a fourth down game. As a fact, I think it was against the Eagles or the Giants. I can't recall. But yeah, the fourth down play where he was like 4th and 5, and he wasn't even on the field because he was nursing something. I don't even know what it was. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So yeah, $20 million. He didn't play like a $20 million receiver. He didn't give us that production. So I'm sorry.
I hope CeeDee Lamb is not looking for $20 million, because right now he's not a $20 million receiver.
He'll get it.
My
God. There's a fumble. That's it. Yep. There it is.
So in any case, shout outs to Kingdom Creative for the production. Yeah. Shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music that's playing. Do you know that all of the music that you hear on every show is this is not some music fact. We have someone that's making these beats. Some of these beats, actually, let me be honest, these beats are on ESPN, Fox Sports 1. We get the first dibs. He comes to us, gives us his catalog, saying help yourself. And whatever we don't want, he says, all right, I'll send it to ESPN. I'll send it to Fox Sports 1. So we get first dibs. These beats are amazing. Shout out to Infinite Audio. I'm joking. I don't want to mess up his thing. But all of his beats and music is readily played on NBA Today, or you name it. All the sports shows. So we'll see what happens tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We appreciate the comments. Next show, we're going to talk about Deion and what Deion, we got to talk about Deion because we got to talk about Deion. Because I think all of that braggadocious nonsense and how they pretty much blew that game and ridiculous. But in any case, thanks for joining. We're gonna watch Dallas and
watch Dallas go 3-and-out, and Matt get a sack already. So Dak already went down and sacked. So it's already trash. Like I said, America, this ain't gonna be good.
I think they're gonna win. I definitely think they're gonna win. Let's see if we have any parting words for this.
And now go Chargers, go.
I'm actually going for the Cowboys this time. But thanks for joining us. Peace.
Peace.